Have you ever wondered why some people change for the worse? Even when they started out with so much potential. What if the reason isn't who they are, but who they spend their time with? Today's story is about a father, a son, and a single rotten apple. A lesson so powerful that it changed one boy's life forever. And it might change yours too. There was once a wealthy merchant named Mr. Thomas Bennet, who lived in a quiet town outside Boston. He had everything a man could want. A grand house, loyal workers, and respect throughout the community. But his greatest treasure was his son, Ethan Bennet. Ethan was bright, kind, and full of potential. But as he grew older, he started spending time with the wrong crowd. Boys who skipped school, lied without blinking, and laughed at rules. Slowly, Ethan began picking up their habits. He talked back to his father, stayed out late, and cared less and less about the values he had been taught. Mr. Bennet watched his son slipping away, and it broke his heart. He tried everything. Long talks at dinner, taking away privileges, even hiring tutors. But nothing worked. The more he pushed, the more Ethan pulled away. One rainy evening, Mr. Bennet sat alone in his study, staring into space. The rain tapped softly against the windows. Then he whispered to himself, "If words can't reach him, maybe experience can." And suddenly, an idea came to him. The next morning, he walked to the town market. He bought a basket filled with perfect apples. Bright red, fresh, and crisp. Then, almost as an afterthought, he picked up one apple. That was brown, soft, and already beginning to rot. Back home, he called Ethan into the kitchen. "Son, I need your help," Mr. Bennet said casually. "Take these apples and place them in the big almirah in my study. All of them. Even that ugly one. And don't eat any yet." Ethan shrugged, picked up the basket, and did exactly as he was told. He placed all the apples together, closed the heavy wooden door, and forgot about them completely. Days passed. Ethan returned to his old friends, and his old habits. Mr. Bennet said nothing. He simply waited. 1 week later, during breakfast, Mr. Bennet looked up from his tea, and said, "Ethan, could you bring me those apples from the almirah? I'd like one with my tea." Ethan walked to the study, opened the almirah, and froze. The smell hit him first. Sour, musty, and unpleasant. He pulled out the basket, and stared in disbelief. Every single apple was ruined. Even the ones that had been flawless just a week earlier. They were covered in mold, soft spots, and brown decay. Not one had escaped. Ethan's face dropped. "Dad, what happened? They were perfect." Mr. Bennet walked over calmly. He picked up one rotten apple, and held it beside another spoiled one. Then he said, "Do you see this, son? This rotten apple didn't stay rotten alone. Its decay spread. Its mold touched every apple around it. The good apples couldn't save the rotten one. Instead, the rotten one ruined them all." Then he looked Ethan straight in the eyes. And said, "Bad company works the same way. One person with rotten habits doesn't stay bad alone. His lies become your lies. His laziness becomes your laziness. His disrespect becomes your disrespect. And before you realize it, the good inside you starts to spoil too." For a long moment, Ethan said nothing. He simply stared at the ruined apples in his hands. And thought. That night, he didn't go out. Instead, he stayed home and helped his father clean the study. The following week, he stopped answering calls from his old friends. Slowly, he began spending time with better influences. He joined the library group, started playing football, and focused on becoming a better version of himself. Months passed. One afternoon, Mr. Bennet found Ethan in the garden, planting a young apple tree. Ethan looked up, smiled, and said, "Dad, I think I understand now. I'd rather grow alone for a while than rot with the wrong crowd." Mr. Bennet smiled, placed a hand on his son's shoulder, and said nothing. Because he knew. The lesson had finally reached him. The lesson is simple. Your environment shapes you more than you think. One toxic friend, one bad habit, one careless choice, can slowly spread and damage everything good you've built. Protect your character the same way you would protect fresh fruit. Keep it away from what is rotten. Because sometimes, it's better to walk alone with your values than run with a crowd that's heading in the wrong direction. And remember, just like apples, the people around you influence who you become. Choose wisely.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.